Good morning. This is Dr. McDaniel. Even though I look like the, I don't know, abominable snowman or something. It's Saturday, so I'm here in Morganville, New Jersey. The girls have their horse riding lessons today. And we had a huge snowstorm. The amount of snowfall varied anywhere from 12 inches to 36 inches here in New Jersey. I think I was in Manhattan for a bunch of the snow, and I can't recall. I think there were about maybe 8 to 10 inches. Could have been 12 in Manhattan, which is unusual because it's always warmer in Manhattan because of all the buildings. But this is the horse farm. Sorry, all of the snow has just kind of been piled out to the field, away from the barn, pretty much where they ride indoors. So the outdoor areas are all still covered, but they've been melting. So it's funny because it's hard as a rock, but from where they cut off, it looks like it's about maybe 8 inches right now as it's melting, but it's compacted, so it's kind of funny out here today. Big piles of snow, and then all of this hard, compact snow also. So let's see, today, as the title states, I'll be speaking about a pretty common problem. That's the barn door. Pretty common problem, which are boils. Medically, we call them abscesses, but the colloquial term is boils. So, oftentimes, if someone has a boil, sorry, allergies, it's cold out here. Oftentimes, if someone has a boil, they'll complain that they didn't notice anything until they were in the shower, and then they had a tender spot, and then the tender spot got a little more tender or painful when they touched it, and pretty soon it was just tender all the time, worse when they touched it, and now it's a bump, and it's gotten larger and more painful the larger it gets, and that they're concerned, they don't know what it is, and sometimes they'll think it's like a herpes outbreak because it's just a weird spot of pain, sore on their genitalia, so they don't know, but it's not a herpes outbreak. An abscess or a boil is because bacteria has gotten trapped under the skin, and once it gets trapped under the skin, it does what it likes to do, which is grow, multiply. So it grows, multiplies, and as bacteria grows and multiplies, your immune system tries to fight it off, and in so doing, it produces pus. And that pus starts to generate with an inflammatory reaction, and it's the activity of your immune system trying to fight the bacteria with inflammation, which is its main weapon, and that's what causes the pain. And as the bacteria and the immune system struggle or fight, all the pus builds up, it starts to build up into a volume, and it's the stretching of the skin with that volume that also increases the pain. So that combo causes a bubble of pus, and that bubble of pus is an abscess or a boil. Now the main thing you don't want to do, which a lot of people do, is they start poking around and trying to pop the ball, because they can see that it looks like a huge zit sometimes if it's fairly superficial, and other times it'll look like deep cystic acne, big red or pink tender spot that's deep under the skin, but you can feel it and feel that it has like liquid in it. You don't want to pop it because popping it will release some of the pain, but it may seal back over come back up again. As it seals back over within 24 hours or so, it's still producing pus. It'll just reform. So it's pointless. And you can also sometimes make it worse by introducing more bacteria with popping it. So the best thing to do is to allow heat. So before the age of antibiotics, heat was the primary treatment. Heat and then poultices, poultices of herbs that have antibacterial properties with them. But heat will help to increase the blood flow to the area, so it increases your fighting mechanism, which increases the entrance or penetration of your immune system. And heat will draw it to a head so that it can boil up and pop on its own. If it pops on its own and you maintain the heat, then it will continue to have an exit route so that it can completely drain, and then it will heal from the base up, which is what you want. It won't seal over from the top and then just reform. So you'll want to either soak in a tub. You don't need Epsom salt or anything. You can just soak in the tub for 5 to 7 minutes as frequently as possible is the key. Soak in a tub, or get a hot, sloppy wet washcloth and put that on the area as frequently as possible so that the wet heat can continue to keep drawing out the pus. And then it will pop. It'll get paper thin, and then the weakest area it will pop. And then you just keep doing the heat or soaks until it comes completely out empty, and then keep doing it until it's healed. It'll heal from the bottom up, and then it will scab over. So that's the best route. However, if it extends past the boil area, so the tender, bubbly spot, and the surrounding skin starts to get red and tender and painful and hot, and then it starts to spread out on the skin, then you'll need to see your gynecologist for an evaluation and for antibiotics, because now that means it's spread past a contained localized abscess, but now it's also a cellulitis. And for the cellulitis, it's going to be best to just get antibiotics. It'll clear it up quickest, and you don't want it to get into the bloodstream and become septicemia, which is blood poisoning. So I hope that's been helpful information on boils, or what we call abscesses, what they are, how best to manage them, treat them, and when to see your gynecologist. Thank you for joining me today at Baymar Farms on the weekend for our horse lessons. Have a great rest of your day. I hope it's sunny and warm where you are. I guess we're supposed to be getting another snowstorm next week. We shall see if they're correct. Thank you. And hey, check out the YouTube channel, which is GYN Corner, and our podcast. We're on all of the platforms for GYN Corner also. Thank you.